My name is Suri Deitch, and I'm Dean of the School of Professional Advancement, or SoPA as we call it. I'm here with my colleague Sheila Gold, who oversees recruitment and admissions, and Ann Conlon, who's behind the scenes running the slides. Thanks again for joining us for this quick introduction to graduate certificates and degrees at SoPA. We're happy to have an opportunity to tell you more about our school and our programs. And I'm going to talk first about faculty programs and student support, and then hand things over to Sheila, who will talk about important things like the admissions process and tuition and financial aid, those kinds of things. So first of all, just want to actually, if you can go to the next slide and give a little bit of context, which is to say that the School of Professional Advancement, again, SoPA as we call it, is one of 10 schools at Tulane University. It was actually the third school founded at the university after the medical school in 1834 and then the law school. So it has a long history of educating working adults and offering applied programs that are relevant to the workplace. And now in 2023, we do it in a 21st century fashion, which we'll talk about, but which includes, for example, a focus on knowledge and examples from industry, a focus on interactive online learning, and so forth. And so again, we're really excited to have an opportunity to tell you more about the school. So the next slide just gives a few images. Most of our instruction is online, particularly at the graduate level, but our home base is actually on the Uptown campus of Tulane University in New Orleans. So you can see our building, which is the Richardson building, and actually a lovely mural in our offices that was designed and executed by students in our digital design programs. So we are very much in and of Tulane University, but with a special focus on applied programs and working adults, and I would say diversity and bringing a Tulane quality education to a lot of folks around the United States and even around the world. The next slide gives you actually a visual image, right, of what a SoPA diploma looks like. And I think the tagline is great: Tulane programs, Tulane faculty, Tulane degrees. So we're going to go through quickly some basic information about our programs and faculty. You should feel free to put questions in the chat at the bottom of the screen at any point. And actually, if you wouldn't mind, just to start, if you could put your name, where you're calling in from geographically, and the program that you're interested in, it would be great to have a better sense of who Sheila and I are talking to this evening. So go ahead and do that if you're able to, not if you're driving. I saw someone driving earlier, but if you can, just go ahead and type that into the chat. We have sessions for each of our programs that are separate from this one, where you can meet directly with faculty and advisors and learn more about the curriculum and about careers and jobs in those fields. So we don't have a lot of time to touch on the specifics of programs this evening, so we'll go through them pretty quickly. Then I'll talk about the learning experience, how we teach, what it's like to be in our courses. I'll talk about the ways in which we support students, specifically through academic and career support. And then, like I said, I'll hand things off to Sheila, who's going to talk about other aspects of our admissions process and so forth. Thanks to folks for putting your information in the chat. Again, like I said, it's really helpful to have. So first of all, to talk about our faculty. We have a mix of full-time faculty at the school, about 40 of them, and then another 150 or so adjunct faculty, all of whom are working in their fields and teaching for SoPA, because it's a great opportunity to share their knowledge and to help foster the next generation of leaders. So on the left-hand side of your screen, you have two people who work in industry on a daily basis and then teach for SoPA a few times a year, again, because it's a great way to bring their knowledge base and their networks, their professional networks, to students, and because it's an enjoyable experience for them and fulfilling. And then over on the right side, you have two of our full-time faculty, Tyra Mitchell, who is a member of our kinesiology faculty, teaching at the graduate level, and Ralph Russo, who is director of our information technology program and has a background in both information technology and actually security, including cybersecurity. So those are some of our faculty. The next slide just gives another image of a cybersecurity faculty member, actually Amanda Fennell, who I think has just such a great quote about the value of what she brings to the classroom, and also, what she enjoys about being able to teach with us. All right. So at the graduate level, we offer master's degrees and graduate certificates, both of which I'm going to go through pretty quickly. The master's degrees are between 10 and 13 courses. Each of the courses is 3 credits, so 30 to 36 or 39 credits, depending on the field. We try to keep the number of credits in each of our programs manageable. And the differences are sometimes based on what industry or accreditation requires, and also sort of based on the knowledge base that students need to have in order to be successful with our degrees. And then I'll go through the graduate certificates pretty quickly as well. So the next slide has a full list of our master's degrees. We're really excited that we're just now launching the Master of Arts in Teaching classes started this summer, and for this fall, the Masters of Education. So 2 new graduate degrees joining the Master of Science degree, the Master of Liberal Arts, the Master of Professional Studies, which is in our Emergency and Security Studies program, and the Master of Public Administration. So that's the list of the master's degrees. The graduate certificates are what we call stackable. And that means that with one exception, they're all 4 courses. All of the courses can be used toward a master's degree, and the admissions standards and the admissions process are the same for the certificate and the degree. So if you decide, for example, you want to study environmental resilience in the public administration program, you take those courses and you realize while you're taking them that actually you want to continue on for the full MPA degree, the Master of Public Administration. It's a totally seamless process. If you earn the credits toward the certificate while you're in the master's, you get the certificate as well. The one exception to what I described with the 4 courses is we have a certificate program. Actually, if you go to the next page, the next slide in the presentation, there is a certificate in our information technology program called Cyber Technology Fundamentals. It's 6 courses, and it's not stackable in the same way. It's really for people who want to study IT at the graduate level and don't have an academic or professional background, are really just coming into the field of IT and getting the fundamentals, as we say it. So long list of certificate programs. Again, the point is that it's 2 ways to do graduate study and a lot of flexibility so that you can get a concentrated base of knowledge, or you can get something that is broader. So that's our faculty and our programs. I'm going to talk next about the learning experience at SoPA. So the vast majority of our graduate coursework is online. Actually, the one exception is the Master of Liberal Arts, which is a program that in the arts and humanities where faculty from other parts of the university actually teach. They teach adult students, which is a little different from who they teach on a daily basis. And so that program has a combination of online and on-ground classes at the Uptown campus in New Orleans, but the vast majority of our instruction is online. And what that means for us is small classes, highly interactive, whether it's discussion sections, live lectures, video, podcasts, simulations. You'll see a couple images of simulations in the next slide. But it's a flexible learning environment. It's intimate, it's highly interactive, and it's really all about drawing from the field to make sure that you are as well prepared as possible for success when you go out into the field. We use the word hybrid a lot of times to describe how we do graduate study at SoPA. It means different things in different contexts. So in most cases, what it means is that you have an asynchronous session for most of your learning. You're doing the work on your own time, on your own schedule, but with a strong structure underlying it for sort of when things are due and knowing what to do when. And that is supplemented with synchronous sessions like the one we're doing right now, typically once a month, sometimes twice. But in other instances, as with our Master of Arts in Teaching, for example, it's a combination of meeting in person and meeting online. Again, with most of the instruction happening in an asynchronous fashion on your own schedule. The vast majority of SoPA students are working at the same time as they're going to school. Many people have families, they have volunteer obligations. And so we know that you have to balance learning with the rest of your life. So that's the learning experience. The next slide, actually, if you want to go back, there you go. So just a few other examples. So we have faculty who are super excited about the metaverse and use that as a platform for teaching, but also the example of the student on a streetcar, right, having downloaded and listened to a podcast. I teach sometimes in the Master of Public Administration. I'm a big fan of doing podcasts for the introductory lectures for each of the modules. So that is learning at SoPA. The next slide gives you a little bit of a sense of how we do what we call student support and success, with a quote from one of our lovely alums who is now in a doctoral program, Sunshine Best. So we have dedicated academic advisors who are highly experienced, who are used to working with adult students and folks who are looking to advance in their own fields or move into a new one. They'll work with you to figure out what classes to take when, how many classes to take. I mean, we generally recommend that people take at least 2 classes a semester to get some momentum in their programs. Once in a while, someone has to take 1 because they've got a lot of other things going on. Sometimes people take 3, once in a while, even 4. We will work with you to figure out what makes the most sense and the sequence of courses that you should take. I'll also say that the advisors are there for the times when challenges come up. That happens not infrequently, in the world in which we live, right? It could be a weather disaster. For some of our students, it could be deployment in the National Guard, for example. It could be an illness coming up with a family member, whatever it might be. Your advisor will work with you to figure out how to navigate through the challenges you're facing outside of school and stay on track in school, because that's what we really want. We want you to be able to do your best academic work and balance it with anything else you might be navigating. And the advisors will help you do that. We also have a dedicated career advisor who is amazing, who will, if you're in this region, will go with you to in-person networking events, but who will also do a Zoom with you where you can practice for an interview or review your LinkedIn profile. Just a really high level of service. Again, really tailored to the experiences of students who are coming in with a lot to offer and are figuring out how to take their next steps professionally. Going back to the faculty, of course, I made reference to the fact that people bring their professional networks into their classes and into their academic programs. That is very much the case. The vast majority of SoPA students are here because they want career advancement. And so we do everything we can to help you get ready for your next steps. And then finally, there is, of course, the fact that you are becoming a member of the Tulane University student and alumni community. There are networks you'll have for the rest of your life, and always places that you can turn for information and connections and opportunities. All of that is, again, part of what we call student support and success. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is what we call credit for prior learning, which basically means that there are a number of ways in which we can work with you to turn your prior learning experiences, your volunteering, your work into course credit. Sometimes that is through formal agreements that we have with different organizations for specific programs. So for example, with the National Guard, for our Emergency and Security Studies program, or with an organization like the National League of Cities for the Master of Public Administration. So specific arrangements that we have negotiated with important and prestigious organizations in different fields. But also, we have something called portfolio assessment, which is basically that you can document your experience, match it up against the content and the learning objectives in a specific program in a portfolio, and then have the portfolio graded and get up to 6 credits or 2 courses toward the master's degree. So it's just one more way in which we're very much focused on helping people who come in with significant experience to move quickly and efficiently through their academic programs so they can go on to the next stage in their careers. And with that, I'll hand things over to my colleague, Sheila.
Thanks, Suri, and welcome everybody once again. I'm excited that you all are here, and I'm going to walk you through our application process and talk a little bit about affordability at Tulane. So we do our pricing per credit hour. And as Suri mentioned, each of our courses are 3 credit hours. So the current tuition rate is $1,210 per credit, and then there's 3 credit hours in each course. We do offer a variety of 20% tuition discounts. So I'm going to go through those, and hopefully you'll hear yourself and be able to apply that to one of these areas. Active duty military and veterans, if you're a former PTK member or current PTK member, K through 12 instructional staff, teachers, New Orleans area public employees, adults over 60, alumni of Tulane, if you've gotten a previous degree at Tulane, or if you've gotten a degree from a minority serving institution or HBCU, and if you're active or retired safety personnel. So hopefully one of those tuition discounts will apply to you. If not, we also offer financial aid. Most of our students do apply for financial aid. You do that by filling out the FAFSA form, which is the federal form for financial aid. And I always tell students that's a multi-step process. So don't wait to start filling out your financial aid forms. As soon as you start filling out your application to SoPA, also start the FAFSA process. We also have other little ways that we try to help students afford SoPA. If you are transferring in credits, we have a $1,500 transfer student scholarship. And also, if you register for courses by certain registration dates for your first semester, and we will go over those, you can get an early enrollment scholarship of $500. And I encourage everybody to register for classes by those early dates. You have nothing to lose and you have $500 to gain off your first semester's tuition. Then those of you who are interested in our MAT program, you may qualify for our SEED scholarship plus a $5,000 stipend. So there's more information about that you can find out more in depth if you attend our teacher prep program specific webinar. So a little bit about our application process. We have an online application. It lives on our website, sopa.tulane.edu. Go to the website. There's a big button that says apply, click it, and it opens you up into our application portal. In order to complete our application, we will need you to upload a current valid government ID. For most people, that's simply taking your phone and taking a picture of your current driver's license and uploading that. We will need transcripts from any school where you received college credit. And many of our graduate applications will require a writing sample or multiple writing samples and a resume. Good news is we do not require the GRE. Many people like to hear that, so I hope that that was good news. And then also our graduate application requires a $50 application fee. However, as a thank you for attending our webinar, we waive that fee. If you have already applied and paid that fee, please email me after this webinar and I can refund that $50 to you. Do not be shy about that. I want you to go ahead and email me and we can refund that for you. Some deadlines. So we have 3 starts a year: traditional fall, spring, which is the January term, and then summer term. Our deadlines are for fall, which is our next term that we are enrolling for, August 1. The term after that is our spring term with a January 1 deadline. And then a year from now, our summer term has a May 1 deadline. However, like I mentioned, we have early enrollment scholarships. So if you apply for admissions and register for your classes by the early enrollment dates, then you will receive $500 off your first semester tuition. So for the fall, the June 1 early enrollment scholarship has passed. Hopefully some of you registered by then. And then for January, for those of you who are considering the January spring term, December 1, you will need to apply, be admitted, and register for classes by then. And then if you're projecting out until next summer, April 25th is our date. So I really encourage everybody to go ahead and apply early. We read applications on a rolling admission basis, which means as soon as your application is complete, we will review it and get you an admissions decision. So my contact information is right in front of you, sgold@tulane.edu. If you have any questions about the application process, early enrollment scholarships, anything else that comes to mind, please send me an email and we'll be happy to answer it. We love hearing from students. One of the things we think that differentiates SoPA from other schools is that we love to create relationships with our students and have them know us and us know you. And we feel like the admissions process is the very beginning of that relationship building. So do not be shy. With that said, I will let anybody who is interested in asking questions, you can go ahead and drop it in the chat. All right, I do. Okay, I see some. So I'm following the questions. I think I see the teacher webinar schedule. If you are interested in the teacher prep program, they do have their own webinars. We can go ahead and send you the next webinar date. They are also on our website. We have a calendar which will show you the webinars. And if you go to our website and you fill out an inquiry form and mention that you're interested in teacher prep, you will get all of that information mailed to you.
And we can also follow up individually with folks for your questions.
Sure. I see a question about a code waiver for the application fee. You do not need that. We are capturing your attendance at this webinar and it will be applied.
I think there are some specific questions that we can follow up with folks about, but I think Daniel's question about the admissions process and how long it takes and whether or not it's even possible at this point to start in the fall. It's a good general question.
It is a good general. Thank you. They're popping up on my feed, and so I missed that one. Yes, you absolutely can. There is time. It is getting close, but there is time to go ahead. Dana, I'm happy to reach out to you after this. So here's sort of the admissions, the answer to this. As soon as you complete your application, we can review it. So that means that you will need to get us all of your information, including your transcripts. So we cannot review an application without transcripts. So we will need all of those. We can review your application with unofficial transcripts. However, we will need your official transcripts to register for classes. And because we're getting a little bit close, I would tell you to go ahead and send this to you. If you think that you can do that relatively quickly, email me and I can help move you through that process and answer specific questions that you might have.
Well, thanks again, everyone, for joining us this evening. Like Sheila said, we're excited to meet you this evening. We're excited to get you to know you as part of this process. And we're glad there's so much interest in so many different programs of ours. And we have some great follow-up to do with many of you. So thanks again. You'll get an email from Sheila tomorrow with a link to a recording for this webinar. And we will absolutely be in touch. So with that, we hope you have a great rest of your evening. If you're in the Eastern or Central United States, and we will see you very soon. Thank you.